All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to create an early finisher project here. It's going to look something like this. We're going to paint our lines in a really cool and organic way, and then we're going to fill it in with patterns. Throughout the year, when like I'm gone and you have a sub, or if you get done with a project early. So you just fill all of that in with patterns. All right, so today what we're going to do is we're going to start off making it, and then later on you'll get all of these different patterns that you are welcome to look at and reference to fill in for your early finisher project. All right, to get started, you're going to start off with some watercolors and paint, and I've already sprayed these down so they're already nice and wet, but you really want to get lots of water on your brush and just put a little dot of paint, and you want just a small dot with lots of water in it. Then take the straw, put your lips on it, and blow some lines. You want to get those lines as long as possible. Nice long lines. Then get another dot of color. I like to use colors that are right next to each other. That's called analogous colors. Colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. See, I'm really filling that up with water and color. My dot's not too big, but it's got a lot of paint in it so that I can get those nice long lines that touch each other. You want lines that intersect and connect with each other. You can put a dot right there in one of the lines to help spread that out. And you see how I'm also changing the direction of my paper, so I'm also changing the direction of the lines. Put some extra water in there so it will spread. And you can also just tilt your paper. Now what will happen is once it hits some water lines, it will stay inside those lines because watercolor doesn't like to make new paths. You need some pressure, like air pressure, to make new paths. These are not making as big a lines because there's not as much water there. And we want to make sure that they touch the edge. So I need to get this dot, I'm going to fill that dot back up with more water and more paint and blow the other direction so that it gets all the way to the edge of the paper. Because again, we want nice long lines that connect to each other. Filling in those edges, making sure that they connect. Now I've been going in super fast forward mode. Of course, you're going to want to take your time with this and do a good job. What's also nice about this is because you are, using a straw to blow these lines across your page, it also dries fairly quickly. So you should be able to get to the second step on the first day. I'm almost finished here. You can also, paint the lines a little bit if you want to. You can use the paintbrush. You can just blow the lines. Whatever you want is fine. Just as long as, those dots aren't too big, the lines are nice and long, and they are, touching each other or intersecting. Okay, so once that's dry, and really it should be dry within just a couple minutes. You can wave it around or blow on it. You're going to get a pack of paper here with patterns on it. And what you want to do is you want to find all of the spaces and define those spaces with your Sharpie. And we're using a pen Sharpie because it's nice and small. And you're tracing the outline of that painted line. Now, if the line doesn't go all the way, you can just draw a line in to connect it. So that is the outside of that painted line. See, that's a lot clearer to see the outside. Now here it doesn't connect, so I'm just going to fill that line in so it does connect. Still tracing the outside of the painted line. Again, see how there's a gap there so that the paint is showing, because we want that contrast between the black and white drawing of our pen and the beautiful color of our watercolor. Showing a couple examples of how I'm tracing the outline of that paint blob. Here again, it doesn't connect all the way, so my pen just connects it with a line. Still drawing the outside, it just sort of tapers and connects. Now this is just one small section of my whole painting, and you can just trace everything first and then start your patterns, or you can trace a little bit and start a pattern in each area. It's up to you on what you want to do there. But now I've got a little section traced of my whole big painting. So I'm going to look at some of the patterns at what I can do there. And I can copy those patterns, or I can be inspired by those patterns. And for each space, you're going to draw a different pattern. Okay, sometimes people call these Zentangles because it's supposed to be just very relaxing and very meditative and very zen, which is where that comes from. So each area I fill with a different pattern. I didn't finish my spiral pattern yet because I wanted to move on to a different one, which is totally fine. I'll come back to that spiral pattern and finish it up later as I fill in the whole thing. So you can start off with a little tiny area there with little tiny patterns, or you can start off with a big area like over here. Here's got a big area where I'm going to come around and down. And see, I'm going to just connect that either to another line or to the edge of the paper to create those spaces that I can then fill a pattern in. And you're just going to pick this project up as you need, whether it be because you're done with the project early or if you have a sub day.